I woke up to the sound of my alarm. Well, no birds, no breeze, just a sharp mechanical beep. I checked my phone. Headlines flashed. Wildfires, flood, and pollution. I cited and I scrolled up. Outside, the sky wasn't blue. It was dull and grey, not from the clouds, but from the smog. The air was thick. The heat was unnatural. When I was walking down the street, I passed by a garbage spilling onto the road where a stray dog was sniffing through plastic. A child barefoot sat on the pavement, eyes empty with exhaustion. I wanted to help, but what could I do? I was just one person. So, like everyone else, I kept walking. At a cafe, I ordered a coffee, but it came in a plastic cup with a plastic lid and a plastic straw. I thought about asking for a reusable one, but there was a line behind me. So I took the plastic cup. At school, I saw a video of a whale ashore, stomach filled with plastic. Everyone commented that this is terrible. Someone should do something. And then we all crawled the past. By the evening, the traffic choked the street. Billboards advertising things which are not needed. Beneath them, there was a homeless man sitting alone, unnoticed. The world kept moving as if this was normal. But it is not. We are not waiting for a disaster. We are moving toward one. And the worst part is, we have gotten used to it. Wherever we look, we see cracks, climate disasters, social divisions, and mental health crisis. When something is this broken, what is the easiest thing to do? Just throw it away and start over. But what if I told you that brokenness is an invitation not to discard, but to mend, not to give up, but to rebuild? You see, we often talk about saving the world as if it is some giant impossible task. But we are not here to save the world. We are here to fix it, piece by piece, choice by choice, and action by action. And the most beautiful part is, when we fix something, we don't just fix it, we'll make it even more stronger. We live in the time where the world can feel the broken. From climate changes to social injustice, climate is in crisis. Every second, a football field of rainforest disappears. Oceans are choking on plastic. The air is thick with pollution. But it's not just our nature. Our society was fractured too. Divisions, discriminations, and conflicts. We have forgotten how to listen to each other. And then there's us, anxiety, burnout, and loneliness. There is also one more thing, the technology. The technology was meant to make our life easier, but yet we are more anxious and lonely than ever, addicted to screens instead of real life connection, burnt out of non-stop notifications and digital overload. It often seems like the problems what we face are too big for us to fix. But here is the truth. We are not powerless. In fact, the changes will start from each of us. Now, imagine a future. A future that could be real. A future where the skies are clear again, where the rivers run, where the air is so fresh, taking a deep breath feels like drinking water from mountain spring. A future where the children grow up knowing about the forest, not from stories, but from experiences. Because the trees have returned, animals have come back, and the earth is alive for once more. But it wasn't always this way. Something changed, not because of a miracle and not because of a single hero, but because we chose to mend what was broken. And the best example is our country, India. India has a history of turning the crack into an opportunity to rebuild what seems broken. It is a country that doesn't just dream of a better world, it actively works towards it. India is leading the fight against the climate change. The world's largest solar energy project is happening here, turning the sunlight into an energy reducing the dependence on fossil fuels. The Namami Ganges mission is cleaning the sacred river Ganges, proving that even the polluted water can be restored with commitment and efforts. And then there is something deeper. India's ancient wisdom that teaches us about changing not just the external world, but also ourselves. Yoga and Ayurveda have gotten the world tools for physical and mental healing. India doesn't see the broken as an end of the story. It sees it as an opportunity. What if we treated our world the same? What if instead of seeing the broken as an end of the story, we saw it as an opportunity? An opportunity to mend what's fractured, to heal what's hurting, to fill the cracked hole. The goal isn't some rare and expensive material. The goal is us. The goal is our action. So, how do we fix the world? How do we fill the cracks with gold? The three golden repairs. First, we redress the planet. Let's stop pretending that small actions don't matter. One plastic bottle recycled, one tree planted, one meal wasted or saved. These choices added up. If every single person of the world picked up one piece of trash today, that's 8 billion fewer pieces of trash that polluting our world. One action may feel small, but movement starts with millions of small actions. Second, we rebuild our community. We live in the time where the people would rather argue than understand. The changes doesn't start with comments or policies. It starts with conversation, with empathy, with listening to someone you disagree with. Not to respond, but to understand. One act of kindness can inspire 3 more. And those 3 more can inspire even more. What if rebuilding our community was as simple as choosing the kindness over indifference? And finally, we remodel ourselves. Because a broken world cannot be fixed by broken people. We need to take care of our mental health. Practice gratitude. Surround ourselves with people who lift us up. The changes doesn't begin in some distant location. It begins in our own hearts and in our own mind. Healing the world starts with healing ourselves. Let me tell you about a man from Tamil Nadu who changed not just the life but the world around him. Arun Krishnamurthy, as a teenager growing up in Chennai, saw something heartbreaking. The lakes and ponds where he once played The child were disappearing. Blue water had turned into dumping ground, covering in plastic and sea. Most of the people ignored it, but Arun couldn't. At just 17 years old, Arun decided to clean a lake near his home. Alone? It seemed impossible, but he didn't stop. He gathered volunteers, spoke to communities, and started small cleaning up drives. The small effort had grew into something huge. He founded the Environmentalist Foundation of India, EFI, an organization dedicated to restore India's water body. Today, EFI has revived over 200 lakes and ponds across Tamil Nadu and India to bring back clean water, biodiversity, and hope. He didn't just clean the lake, he changed the community. He educated the children in village about conservation, helped farmers access clean water, created jobs by involving the locals in restoration projects. His work proved that changing our nature also changes our livelihood. He could have chosen some high paying corporate job, but he chose the purpose over the profit. He faced many struggles, common hurdles, lack of support, and fund issues. But he kept going. Today, his story inspires thousands of young Indians to take responsibility over their surroundings. As one teenager's decision to clean a lake grew into a movement, that is, recreating our planet, rebuilding our communities, and restoring our hope. The world is broken, not by an accident, but by our own choices. And that means we have the power to fix it. We need not reject the technology. We need to reshape it to use it with wisdom, ethics, and purpose. The question isn't, will the technology save us? The real question is, will we use the technology to save ourselves? The cracks on the wall are so deep. But if we act now, we can fill it with something even stronger. The cracks are around us, on the planet, on the community, and on ourselves. Aren't the end of the story. They are an invitation to rebuild and to make something even stronger and more beautiful than ever. We tend to think that reconstructing our world requires monumental actions, but in reality, it starts with small choices we make every single day, such as what we buy and how we treat people, the way we care about the environment. These all are the different ways to make a difference. One action may seem like a droplet. It might seem insignificant alone, but over time, it creates changes. If we come together, if we decide to rebuild instead of replacing it, we don't just fix what's broken. We create something extraordinary because the world is waiting. After seeing all of this, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to say, I'm just one person. What difference can I make? But here is what I want you to remember is, broken things don't have to be thrown away. They can be remade into something wonderful. So, let's join together to fill the cracks with gold and to make the world a better place for you and me and for the entire human race. Thank you.